In the late 19th century, a group of mounted bandits entered the quiet little town of Sweetwater. They were led by a tough man known as Blackjack and always accompanied by his trusted aide, Kevin. Upon arriving in town, Blackjack noticed his young nephew Sonny playing with the local children. This sight made Blackjack doubtful, and he questioned whether Sonny was truly fit to live as an outlaw like himself. This uncertainty led him to immediately reprimand Sonny, demanding that he behave more befitting a gang member and stop being so soft.
This ain't no born social, you understand?
Shortly afterward, Blackjack ordered his group to rob a bank in the area. While inside the bank, he threatened the bank employee with a gun and demanded that the safe be opened. When the employee refused, Blackjack brutally shot one of his fingers to force him to submit. Meanwhile, outside the bank, Sonny, who is on duty, begins to notice a female entertainer named Dolly. In an attempt to impress her, Sonny shows her a novel he greatly admires and asks her to sign it. Dolly, known for her good heart despite her bad reputation, is visibly moved. But their moment is short-lived as the city security forces soon arrive. One of the gang members hurriedly informed Blackjack that the police were closing in. Blackjack quickly prepared to flee, and in the ensuing chaos, he shot a citizen who was considered a threat to their safety.
Hurry, let's go!
In the midst of the shootout, Sonny saw Dolly hit by a stray bullet and immediately ran to help her. Then, while fleeing, he also found a gang member who was seriously injured, and without hesitation, Sonny helped both of them. After going through the chaos, they finally managed to escape with their loot. When they felt they were far enough from Sweetwater, Blackjack decided to stop and share the loot. He also reminded them that they had already lost several men and that the journey ahead would be even more dangerous. He reminded them that other lives could be lost. Badger, Blackjack's older brother, who was seriously injured at the time, remained determined to continue the journey despite his poor condition, and they finally resumed their escape. Several hours later, Blackjack began to realize that the security forces were still following them. There was no time to rest, and they had to keep moving. Sonny, worried about Badger's condition, felt that his uncle needed time to rest, but Badger insisted on continuing. Unfortunately, Sonny's worries proved correct as Badger fell further behind and became exhausted. Seeing this condition, Sonny decided to stay by Badger's side and accompany him on the rest of the increasingly difficult journey. The next morning, due to blood loss and exhaustion, Badger falls from his horse, and feeling his end is near, Badger begs for someone to end his suffering, but none of the group is willing to do so. As the group leaves, Badger calls Sonny and gives him one last piece of advice, asking him to leave his life as a bandit and find a better path than the dark path they have been on. With his last breath, Badger asked his nephew to shoot him, and even though Sonny had never fired a gun at anyone before, he reluctantly fulfilled his uncle's request. The sound of the gunshot was heard by Kevin, who immediately came to them. He appreciated Sonny's actions and said that Sonny had finally shown his worth, but suddenly another gunshot was heard from above the cliff. It turned out that the security forces were still chasing them, and one of their bullets hit Sonny's leg. The wound forced their group to continue their escape, but this time in a more critical condition than before. Even a fierce gun battle occurred. While fleeing, a horse carrying the stolen goods is suddenly shot, and seeing this, Blackjack considers taking the money back, but Kevin firmly advises him to abandon it to avoid further casualties. Eventually, the security forces abandon their pursuit, while Blackjack's group continues to flee through a fierce sandstorm, ultimately yielding nothing. After the storm subsides, they find themselves in a stunning, lush green landscape, and while exploring the unusual forest, they come across a Native American man sitting beside a gate that seems to have no purpose. Soon they came across a small, quiet town, and as they entered the town, the inhabitants regarded them with a mixture of awe and wariness. The local sheriff, a man named Forrest, came forward to greet them. Blackjack then made up a story explaining that he and his companions were shepherds who had been attacked by Apaches and lost everything. Showing extraordinary generosity, Sheriff Forrest then offered them a place to rest their horses, free drinks at the bar, and free hotel rooms. Blackjack then asks to be directed to the telegraph office, pretending to contact the cattle owner, and Forrest explains that their town is cut off from the outside world. Before parting ways, Forrest assigns Deputy Glenn to assist them and asks a woman named Rose to take the injured to a doctor. As Roz takes the injured, Sonny asks how long she has been there, and Rose answers in great detail, saying she has been there for 5 years, 1 week and 2 days. They are then greeted by Dr. Woods.
All right, you're next.
Upon meeting Sheriff Forrest again, Blackjack felt a strange sense of familiarity, as if he had seen him before, but couldn't remember where. He then quietly informed the others, saying that the townspeople were unarmed and would be easy targets. Meanwhile, Sonny also felt like he had seen Dr. Woods before, and Woods admitted to having lived in the place Sonny mentioned, but long before Sonny was born. Then Rose asked Sonny about how many people he had killed, and why their group, who claimed to be shepherds, only carried a small amount of rope. But Sonny refused to answer and finally made Rose leave. Finally unable to bear it, Sonny admitted that he had only killed one person and that he had done it because he had to. Meanwhile, Rose, who heard this, turned around and looked shaken. Elsewhere, Woods shows Sheriff Forrest the bullets he removed from the herdsmen, and since they are not the type used by Native Americans, Forrest suspects that Blackjack's group is not who they say they are. However, Forrest will take the prudent approach and express his desire to send them away gently and peacefully.
Much chance of that as a one-legged man and a...
Getting out of this jackpot, I'm pinning it on Forrest.
And maybe they'll drop us a little thank you note on the way out of town.
That night, Sonny joined the others at the bar. While outside, Blackjack met Woods and introduced himself under the false name of Jack Smith. He then invited Woods for a drink, but Woods politely declined. When Woods left, Blackjack couldn't shake the feeling and curiosity that he had met the doctor somewhere before. When the sun set, the church bells rang. The Blackjack group noticed the townspeople walking toward the church, including the bar owner, and he concluded that this town was very religious. Cavan then commented that their mission would be easy in a place like this, and when Sonny asked what Cavan meant, Cavan coldly replied that it was none of his business. After the church service, Sonny approached Rose to explain that the man Sonny had killed before was dying, and he asked to be killed. Sonny wanted Rose to understand his intentions, and after that, Sonny admitted that he had feelings for Rose. Suddenly, a drunk Cavan approached and attacked Sonny for daring to approach a woman before him, even after that Cavan tried to flirt with Rose. This made Forrest angry, but unfortunately, before Forrest could act, Cavan pointed a gun at him. Luckily, before Cavan could shoot, Sonny quickly knocked him unconscious. Sonny then apologized and asked if Cavan should be sent to jail. However, Forrest replied that their town didn't have a jail and then took Rose by the hand to walk away. Blackjack then arrived and asked Sonny what happened, and Sonny explained that Cavan had simply passed out from drinking too much. The next morning, Forrest accidentally meets Sonny near Blackjack's inn. At that meeting, Sonny, curious, then asks how long Forrest has been sheriff, and Forrest replies that he has been in office for 10 years. After Forrest leaves, Sonny opens his novel and is very surprised because the sheriff looks very much like Wild Bill Hickok, a legendary gunfighter who was killed in 1876 while playing poker. In the ensuing meeting, Forrest expressed his concerns about Cavan's behavior and asked Blackjack to rein in his men. Blackjack demanded to know who hit Cavan, and Forrest explained that Cavan was simply drunk and likely fell over. Blackjack then asked why Forrest wasn't carrying a weapon, and Forrest replied that he and the villagers had their own ways of protecting themselves. Elsewhere, Cavan and Sonny go to Brooks' shop to steal ammunition, and as a diversion, Sonny engages Brooks in a conversation about novels. Brooks then reveals that he has many classic novels for sale. However, Sonny notices that Brooks' face resembles Jesse James, a notorious outlaw killed by his own gang in 1882, but Brooks denies the resemblance. Their conversation is interrupted when Cavan drops an item while hiding the stolen ammunition. Cavan then distributes the stolen ammunition to his group. However, they later see Brooks talking to Forrest, and it seems Brooks is aware of the theft. Tired of pretending, Blackjack orders his men to cause chaos, and when violence breaks out, Forrest politely asks Blackjack to stop his men, but is ignored. Forrest then stands in front of the church door, remaining calm as knives are thrown at him by the bandits. As the other attackers prepared to throw, lightning struck one of Blackjack's men dead, and everyone fell silent. The gatekeeper then came and carried the body to the mysterious gate outside the city. That night, while Sonny is asleep, he is awakened by the sound of a horse-drawn carriage, and upon leaving the house, sees the townspeople welcoming a newcomer named Dolly. Sonny is shocked and surprised, having believed Dolly had died in his arms at Sweetwater, but now she stands up and smiles. The coachman then hands Forrest a white rose and mysteriously announces that he will be home soon. The next day, Sonny insisted that Dolly was dead, but Dolly denied it and said her name was Apey. Disappointed at not getting an answer, Sonny then tested Dr. Woods by calling his name. Woods's quick reaction was as if he was about to draw a gun, and Sonny took this as proof that Woods was Doc Holliday, a legendary doctor and gunfighter who died of tuberculosis in 1887, but Woods then denied it. However, Sonny's suspicions grew stronger, and he believed the town was a refuge for legendary criminals who were thought to be dead. He even said that Glenn was Billy the Kid, but Woods asked back who Rose really was, which made Sonny speechless. Sonny then asked why they let Blackjack in, and while talking, Sonny accidentally said Blackjack's real name, which triggered Woods' memory of the famous train robber. Woods then warned Sonny to choose the right path before his life was lost. After leaving there, Sonny met Lamb and accused him of being Lefty Slade, another criminal who was believed to be dead. However, Lamb denied it until Sonny saw the gunshot wound on his wrist. Lamb finally confessed, but their conversation was suddenly interrupted when two of Blackjack's men destroyed Lamb's garden, and in a fit of rage, Lamb shot one of them. But soon after, Lamb regretted his actions, screaming and crying. The townspeople then gathered to watch Lamb walk with the gatekeeper toward the Misty Gate, and from that moment on, Lamb never returned. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Blackjack's men caused more chaos, and Forrest, who saw this, finally called Blackjack by his real name and asked him to come out. Blackjack then tried to attack, but his punch missed, while Forrest could have caught him but hesitated. Suddenly, an earthquake shook the city, causing Blackjack to lose his confidence. Afterwards, he gathered his men and told them to retreat, while Sonny tried to join them, but Cavan stopped him. In the end, Sonny sneaked in through the back door and overheard their plan to destroy the city. He even heard Cavan claim that he had taken control of Rose. Sonny then found Rose at the lake, and after Sonny saw the bruises on her neck from Lamb's attack, Rose finally confessed that she was the first woman to be hanged in Arizona because she had killed her cruel father. But people forgot that she had been abused since she was 12 years old. Rose's confession finally made Sonny realize that this town was a second chance for criminals. At the church, Sonny finally realized that everyone in this town had to endure 10 years to atone for their sins and attain salvation. A single mistake could ruin everything, and Sonny was disappointed that they couldn't fight back against criminals like Blackjack. When Sonny tried to leave, Blackjack and Cavan ambushed and beat him up. While the residents could only watch because they didn't want to risk their own safety, Sonny then woke up in Dr. Wood's office, and Rose assured him that he was still alive. Forrest then apologized, and Sonny swore to protect the town for everyone's sake.
It's too bad.
The next morning, despite his weakened conditions, Sonny prepared to face Blackjack because Sonny had chosen a different path. Rose asked him to run, but Sonny remained steadfast in his goal. Forrest then joined him, inspired by his courage, and eventually the others followed suit. Woods reminded Forrest that he only needed 5 more hours to reach 10 years, but Forrest chose to fight, and soon Brooks and Glenn followed them. Blackjack then ordered his men to burn the houses, but Forrest and the others finally approached. Cavan tried to attack, but Forrest was faster and ended up injuring several of them. Another criminal tried to attack from behind, but Woods quickly shot him.
The odds are getting better.
A fierce battle ensued, and the criminals were finally defeated. After the situation calmed down, Rose finally hugged Sonny, and seeing this, Cavan became angry and shot him. Fortunately, Sonny managed to shoot back accurately and ultimately killed Cavan. Despite being wounded, Sonny felt no pain, and realizing this, Forrest understood that Sonny had been given a second chance and then welcomed it. However, Blackjack appeared for the final, and in the end, Forrest shot him dead on the spot.
Wild Bill Hickok. I reckon the odds are against me now. Put that gun belt back on. Look at Blackjack Britton.
The gatekeeper then came and carried Blackjack and Kevin's bodies to the fiery pit, where their corpses screamed in agony as they were consumed by the flames. Forrest, Glenn, Brooks, and Woods then prepared to face their fate, and afterwards the train arrived and the driver smiled, saying that their sacrifice made them worthy of entering heaven. The carriage driver also invited Sonny, but Sonny chose to stay with Rose. Before parting, Forrest gave his sheriff's badge to Sonny. The carriage then carried the four legends to heaven, where they finally found eternal peace. The moral message in this film is that every human being, no matter how bad their past may be, still has the opportunity to change and atone for their mistakes and sins. Redemption is not about erasing the past, but about having the courage to choose a better path in the future. This mysterious city is not just a place of refuge, but a symbol of second chances, a space for those who want to improve themselves, overcome temptation, and atone for their sins through their actions. Sacrifice, courage, and a sincere desire to protect others are the path to true salvation. In life, there is always time to change, to fight the darkness within ourselves and become better people.